I kicked out my half-sister after years of no contact, and my dad threatened to cut me out of his will. 3 months later, everything changed when he showed up at my door. I'm Sarah, 32F, and my relationship with my father has been complicated for as long as I can remember. My parents divorced when I was just 3 years old. I have vague memories of heated arguments and tension in the house before they split. My mom always tried to shield me from the worst of it, but even as a toddler, I could sense something was wrong. After the divorce, my dad quickly remarried and moved to another state. His new wife, Linda, was from a wealthy family and had never worked a day in her life. They settled into a lavish lifestyle that was worlds apart from the modest apartment my mom and I shared. Growing up, I only saw my dad a handful of times each year. He'd send child support checks regularly, but that was about the extent of his involvement in my life. Our visits were always awkward and stilted. He'd take me to expensive restaurants or buy me elaborate gifts, but we never really connected on an emotional level. My mom, on the other hand, was my rock. She worked long hours as a nurse to make ends meet, often picking up extra shifts to afford little extras for me. Despite her exhaustion, she always made time to help me with homework, attend my school events, and just talk about my day. She encouraged me to maintain a relationship with my dad even when I didn't want to. As I got older, I realized how much she sacrificed for me and how little effort my dad put in. I remember one particular incident when I was about 10. I had a big piano recital that I'd been practicing for months. My mom had requested the day off work weeks in advance to be there. I had also told my dad about it, hoping he might make the trip to see me perform. The day of the recital came, and my mom was there, beaming with pride. My dad, unsurprisingly, was a no-show. He sent a text later saying something came up at work. I was devastated, but my mom comforted me and took me out for ice cream afterwards. It was a pattern that would repeat itself throughout my childhood and teenage years. When I was 12, my dad and Linda had a daughter, Emma. I met her a few times over the years, but we never developed a close relationship. It was hard to connect with a half-sister who was so much younger and who I barely knew. Plus, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy seeing the attention and affection my dad lavished on her, attention I had craved for years. As I entered my teenage years, I became more resistant to visiting my dad. Our time together was always superficial. Shopping trips or fancy dinners where we struggled to find things to talk about. I started making excuses to avoid these visits, throwing myself into school activities and friendships instead. My mom never forced me to go, but she always gently encouraged me to keep the door open. After I graduated high school, I went to a state university about an hour from home. My mom had set aside a small college fund for me, and I worked part-time to cover the rest. My dad offered to pay my tuition, but I refused. I didn't want to feel indebted to him or give him a way to control my life. This decision seemed to both surprise and hurt him, but I stood firm. During college, I made even less effort to stay in touch with my dad. The occasional phone